Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. My name is Chris Shelton. I'm the Vice President for CWA for all of the northeastern states, about 160,000 members. And we're here today to give our official endorsement to Hakeem Jeffries. But the way I'd like to start is I'd like to introduce to you the Executive Vice President of our local in Brooklyn, Local 1109, so Chris Calabrese.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure as Executive Vice President of CWA Local 1109 in Brooklyn, which represents 2,000 workers at Verizon, Cablevision, and other telephone communications companies. It is my pleasure to endorse Hakeem Jeffries for Congress. Hakeem Jeffries has been a great friend to CWA 1109 over the years. He was there with us through all our fights with Verizon. During a Verizon strike, he was at the picket lines, at our rallies, giving words of encouragement to our workers. And latest, he was there with us when we were organizing 282 Cablevision workers in Brooklyn, and he was instrumental in giving them the support and encouragement that they needed to win that battle with Cablevision. So there's nobody better to represent us in Congress than Hakeem Jeffries.
Thank you, Chris. So I'm here today on behalf of all of the Communication Workers of America in not only New York, they're the only ones that actually can vote, but all of the Communication Workers of America to endorse the next congressman from the Congressional District 10 in Brooklyn, Hakeem Jeffries. As Chris said, has been a great friend, not only to CWA, but to all working families in New York since he started in the Assembly for New York State. And we feel that what we need in Congress today from Brooklyn is somebody who supports working families, someone who understands what it's like to be a working family in the city of New York. Someone who understands what it's like in this country to fight off all of the problems with finances that working families have, and what Congress can do to help do that. And we feel without any doubt whatsoever that that person and the next congressman from Brooklyn is going to be Hakeem Jeffries.
CWA in the house right now?
Yeah!
CWA in the house right now?
Yeah!
Thank you, Chris. It's just an honor and a privilege to stand with you as a tremendous progressive leader of the labor movement and this wonderful union, CWA District 1, to accept this tremendous endorsement in connection with my campaign to be the next congressman from the 10th Congressional District in Brooklyn.
Yeah!
Proud yet humble as a child of a union household who grew up in a working class neighborhood in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and who recognizes that I wouldn't be here today as an attorney, as a member of the New York State Legislature, as a candidate for Congress, if it wasn't for the umbrella of protection and dignity that the organized labor movement provided for my family and for myself. And so you never have to worry about whether I'm going to stand up for you, because organized labor, this union, and the progressive movement has always stood up for me. We stood together during the last 5 years in Albany on progressive income tax reform. We've stood together on Verizon. We've stood together fighting against corporate greed. We've stood together in helping to organize those wonderful and brave Cablevision workers. We're going to stand together on the call center legislation, and we're going to stand together to fight against efforts to deregulate in New York State. We're going to continue to fight and stand together to advance a progressive agenda. Now we advanced that agenda in Albany. And now I'm looking forward to standing with you to advance that agenda down in Washington, D.C. 150 years ago, Abraham Lincoln once publicly pondered the question, how do you create a more perfect union? He, of course, asked that question in the context of the Civil War that was raging at the time, threatening to tear this country apart. But since that moment, year after year, decade after decade, century after century, we certainly have made tremendous progress in America, but we still have a long way to go. Because there are members of the United States Congress on the radical right and some in the Democratic Party who want to turn back the hands of time and take us back to a very different America. And as far as I'm concerned, it's time for Democrats to act like Democrats.
Yeah!
And so I'm not going down to Washington, D.C. to play footsie with the Republican Party. I'm going down to Washington, D.C. to stand up for you and for working families and for a progressive agenda for America. Civil rights. I'm going to stand up for women's rights. I'm going to stand up for workers' rights. I'm going to stand up for immigration rights. We're going to stand up for Social Security. We're going to stand up for Medicare. We're going to stand up for progressive income tax reform. And I'm going to stand up for our President, Barack Obama. Now, I know we face tremendous challenges. And the opposition is organized and well-funded. But we've overcome adversity in America in the past. In the march toward a more perfect union, we overcame adversity during the Civil War. We overcame adversity during the Great Depression. We overcame adversity during World War II. We overcame adversity in the Jim Crow South. And right here in New York City, we overcame adversity in the aftermath of September 11, standing with CWA. I'm confident that we're going to get elected, go down to Washington, and lead the march toward a more perfect union in America. God bless you, and thank you for this endorsement.
Questions? Anybody have any questions?
Could Chris or anyone from the union explain why you went with Jeffries and not Congressman Towns?
Yeah, I can explain that. As I said, and as Chris Calabrese from Local 1109 said, Assemblyman Jeffries has been with this union from day one and has stood with us in some very bad spots, and we always take care of our friends. And Congressman Jeffries is certainly one of our friends.
Are there specific votes that the congressman has made that you've objected to?
I don't want to get into negative campaigning. Let the congressman decide what votes he's made that we didn't like and why Assemblyman Jeffries is running against him.